Hello everybody, you're welcome to another special edition with us here on Lifestyle TV, and it's Diaries with the Elizabeth. Today, it is a rather dicey but really captivating topic we are coming to talk about. It is one topic that I think people are really going through in a relationship, and we just want to talk about it and, if need be, tell you what to do just to spice up your relationship. And here with me today, I have the ever bubbly Nanaya. Hello, Nanaya.
Hi.
Please say hi to your audience.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so today we are just, having a chit chat about having an abusive partner, how to deal or cope with an abusive partner.
Sure.
First of all, I did a little background check on this particular topic, and abuse is the improper usage or treatment of a thing, be it verbal or physical. Yeah. And relating it to our relationships, how or what would you call an abusive partner?
All right, thank you very much for having me on your show today. And I'll just say an abusive partner is someone who actually doesn't take anything you say into consideration, not just verbally or physically, but then the fact that the person doesn't see your importance in the relationship in decision making. Okay. I also term that as an abuse.
Right. And so you just wouldn't, with what you said, you just wouldn't limit beating, like the physical assault?
Not at all, because abuse is actually a broad topic where people actually want to limit it to verbal or physical abuse. But I think a lot goes into abuse, because before it gets to the verbal, a lot of things play role before it gets there. Before it gets to the physical, a lot of things also play a role before it gets there. So I'll just say that's the end product, but then there are lots of things that goes into it before it gets to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So many a times we limit abusive partners to the gentleman. The gentleman, please forgive us. Sometimes we just can't do without, putting much of the blame on you. Sure. But can a lady be an abusive partner?
Of course. We have a lots of ladies who are very abusive in their relationships. And then
educators?
I believe sometimes it's from home. From home, your upbringing can actually make you abusive when you grow up, because there are some kids that in their upbringing, they don't actually have a fatherly role or a motherly role. So the kids are brought up in any way. So from there, they play with their kids, their friends in school, and hear aboa kwasia. That's where it starts from. Before you end up, you're actually telling somebody aboa or kwasia without thinking about it, because it's by default. Any little thing, when the least mistake, aboa, the least thing. So that's where it starts from. So I believe that when we are able to treat or train our kids properly when they are young, they won't grow to be abusive. And we have a lot of abusive women.
I'm not trying to be difficult with this particular one, but I beg to differ, because some of us grew up without that fatherly role figure you're talking about. But never would you stand in front of my mother and say, "Oh, yeah, kwasia."
That is why I say it depends.
The beatings you go chop that day.
It depends, because people live with their aunties and their uncles,
right? And
then they still grow up to be very important, and then they are very respectable in the society. So I just believe that you can have a mother, because I know a couple that can't even control their own kids outside. So that means that's how they treat the child at home. So that is what the child also bring out. So it depends on the home setting. But then again, I believe there are lots of abusive women. Lots of abusive women. But because men are a little reserved, because they have power, is known as manpower and all that. So if a man talks out that, "Oh, I have an abusive girlfriend," or a best friend,
but how do you talk about it? With regards to the ladies, how do you determine a lady being an abusive partner? How do you see it? Like, is there a trait? Is there something they do for you to see, say, this person is an abusive person?
Yeah, sure. Because I believe that before a lady will be abusive towards a man, she's always abusive towards a lady.
Right.
Her female friends, her close circle. So if you find a lady abusive, not as in say obe bono and I say obe, but then in conversations, you find the least thing, oh, you know, those abusive words. If she finds it so easy, without effort, to say it to a fellow girl.
Without remorse.
Exactly. That means, no. So don't deceive yourself. She'll bring it onto a man, and then she'll take into her relationship, her marriage, and then wherever she goes.
Right. So, gentlemen, these are tidbits, you know, we are giving you before you jump into that relationship you are eyeing. Just make sure that whilst you are getting to know the person, take things into consideration.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
many a times we overlook these things, and then when they start bringing it up in a relationship, it's like the person was pretending. The person wasn't pretending.
Yeah.
If it is something that has to do about them, they might have, you know, shown a thing or two.
So you have to fix it before you get into the relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, and another thing I saw while I was delving deep into this was the things that make up an abusive partner. I saw extreme jealousy. I saw possessiveness. I saw unpredictability. I saw a bad temper, and I saw verbal abuse. I would want us to deal with extreme jealousy.
All right.
Yeah. How does a partner being an extremely jealous person end up being an abusive person?
Okay. So a typical example, when you have an abusive partner as a lady, your guy or your husband or your boyfriend is abusive. You just see it. That's the first instance that you see that this boy is abusive. When you talk too much to other guys, you have a group, girls group. You have to hang out with them always. The least thing, obebo. You talk to a guy on phone. Why do you have a male as a friend? You know, why do you have a male as a best friend? Obebo. So they are there, a lot of them. And then, funny enough, the women find solace in being in abusive relationships, because before a man becomes extremely abusive, he will pamper you. Do take you on trips, buy expensive gifts, so you feel like, oh no, dear, a boy no man relationship in a year midday. You understand?
So you see, all these things that I saw to sum up for someone to become an abusive partner, I think that they are all certain things that are already in a person. Because when it comes to friendships, sometimes you even tend to be jealous. Especially when you become so familiar with a particular person, and then you see that the person is too friendly, and so they end up with other people. Then you're like, why is this girl doing this?
Yeah,
you see,
happens a lot.
And then it grows into temper. It grows, and then you are possessive. It grows, and then you see, so all these things are piling up, and then the person ends up being abusive.
That is why I said it's from the upbringing. It's always from it's a process, so it always has a starting point. So when you start it and you don't realize it early to solve it, before you realize, sometimes you don't even know you are that abusive. Before you realize you are so abusive, especially the verbal abuse, because physical abuse there, if you hit me, I can report it to the police. If you hit me, it will be obvious you are beaten up. But the verbal abuse is too much, killing a lot of people, killing a lot of relationships, and people can't even talk about it because they feel it's normal for a man, because membo they are male. And then people will go like, oh yeah, me, it's not written on my body or anything, so they take it normal.
But when you're quiet, it keeps ringing in your head.
That is that's when it even bothers you. Some people, they play with the insults, they play with the verbal abuse. So until you enter into a relationship with someone who is really not brought up in that way, if he or she hears something like this, it's so new. My mommy didn't teach me this. I wasn't taught this. That is when the person will actually think about it. But in a home where they play with Abu and Kwasa and a lot of verbal abusive words, they find it so normal.
Right.
Yeah.
So in all this, how would you say we should deal, our viewers,
Sure.
our listeners, probably, how should they be able to deal with an abusive partner? What can they do?
Leave.
Hmm?
Leave.
It's not easy like that, my
Just
dear.
leave. If you love your life, leave, my dear.
But I love the boy too. The boy too loves me.
Leave. If you love your life, leave. Because it starts from verbal abuse. Then it gets, see, where is Ekuweme? Ekuweme? Ekuweme is no more.
Right.
Because of abuse. And then there's this, I'm purely Christian, right? And people say, Nkolaninti, let me be in this relationship. Nkolaninti, let me stay in this marriage. Before you say, Jackie, you're dead and gone. So if it's abusive, seek help. If the help is not helping, the living must leave. You just have to leave the relationship to save your life, to save your sanity. There are lots of people at the hospital, just because of abuse. Sometimes you can just hit someone's head on the wall and it affects the person. So when it starts, you just detect this is abuse. Seek help or leave. Just leave, my dear. Leave to save your life.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard a lot.
Yeah.
You are seeing a lot in these days. And so you have heard that if it is not helping, leave.
That's it.
Regardless, whatever you are getting from that relationship, if the person doesn't respect you or respects the things they say to you, please leave.
And one last thing, if somebody loves you, the person will not verbally or physically abuse you. So the fact that you raise your hand, because there's a saying that once a soldier, always a soldier. The fact that you almost hit me, the next moment you will hit me. So when it starts once, it will continue. So if I love you, I won't even go the extent. You get it, but it shouldn't get to a certain level when you really love the person. That's why sometimes we say love fades, then the head or the heart. No, the heart is with love. So love fades, then the head has to work. You are with this person, the love is going down, but then you just have to think about it. Oh, this person is a good person. If I stay with this person, I'll go forward and everything. That time the heart is not working because the person has done something to really affect you. And you don't want to forgive the person, you're holding on to it. So if I love you very much, the love will have to go now for the head to work. Right. So I won't go the extent of hitting you. I won't go the extent of physically or verbally abusing you. Yes, so that's it.
Today, no be small keys we are opening here, but our time is limited, and so this is where we have to draw the curtains down on this particular one. But we promise you that we'll definitely come back.
Sure.
We'll definitely come back with, I hope you remember Paulina. Yes, we'll come back with that lady. She has a lot of keys, and so we'll bring her on, and then we'll do an in-depth, psychosis. Hey, is there a word like that? Is there a word like that?
I'm sure.
Hey, please don't take me on, though, but we'll definitely come back and then would dissect this particular topic and then hope that it gets to you and then you work with it. And so it's been the L'Amour Diaries here on Lifestyle TV. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the button and do the needful. It's your girl, the Elizabeth, and it's been Nanaya on this show. We promise you nothing but the best. Keep watching out for our contents and our updates, but we'll never disappoint. If the heart is not working, the head must work. Always remember you are the prize. Thank you for watching.